You. What's going on, man?
Oh,
I
man.
really want to say not a lot, man. I mean, you know, same old, same old. Unfortunately, you know, I would like to say some new stuff, but somebody didn't give me that beat. I wonder who
Yeah,
that.
that is true. I can't look. You got me, Mark.
I
You
wonder
know,
who that.
I want to have that. Maybe I need my old cohort. That has reappeared in our lives. Maybe I need my old cohort to give me that motivation like he used to. What I'm saying? Shout out to Alvarez. But yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
hey, what up, Troy? He said, shout out to the notifications. Hey, man,
yeah.
listen, I wanted to kick this off with a bang, but somebody didn't give me my beat that I needed to do things the way that I needed to. So here we are with the same old, unfortunately. But anyway, this episode is generally a reaction to week one. A lot of stuff has happened recently within the NFL, and we're mainly an NFL show. So we're going to get into the things that happened this past week. Um, so man, where you want to start, Sean? What interests you the most? Let's just
To
go ahead and get
be
right.
honest with you, the thing we briefly touched on when we first talked, I want to talk about the Miami Dolphins.
Okay, we could
Because,
start there. We could start with the Miami Dolphins. All right. Uh,
because
let,
yeah, go ahead.
let me bring up the Dolphins this past week. You know what's interesting, Doug? I
What?
do not like going on ESPN's website for anything.
Yeah, I don't either. I'm not gonna hold you.
Like I just pulled up Yahoo for the scores. I used to go to whatchamacallit for at least the scores and stuff, but I hate going to ESPN for anything now. Like
Mhm.
uh,
Yeah, nah, it's terrible. It's been a
all
long time since I was like, ah, man, let me check out ESPN. Nah, the website, like, nah, absolutely not.
who wants to read an ESPN article anymore? Anything that's worthwhile on ESPN is behind ESPN Plus. Like
Yeah,
I
you're right.
wanted-
And then not just only that, but to be real with you, like you're talking about to read an ESPN article, like first off, there's so many people out here that are killing it with the articles, and then it's like, why read a blog when you got people that'll do a 30-minute podcast or a little mini show or whatever, recapping everything and giving you actual honest opinions instead of just giving you, the opinions that they're allowed to give you while working for ESPN, knowing that they got to deal with the NFL and stuff like that. See, that's the problem.
right. Well, speaking of articles, we're going to get to this later, guys. But stick around. There was an article, Sean. I don't know how much you're aware of it, but there was an article, a pretty scathing one at that, about Caleb Williams that came out recently. Well, Caleb Williams and the Bears organization by Tyler Dunn, and I'm going to discuss that a little bit later. So look forward to that because it's kind of bad, man. I don't know.
Yeah.
Are you aware of that?
I am aware of it. I have not taken a gander, Mark.
Okay.
I have
Well,
not
yeah,
taken a gander, so this should be interesting because the things that I've heard were wild. Not wild,
yeah,
I wouldn't even say wild, but yes, continue.
yeah. I mean, don't look to me for a massive breakdown, like super detailed, but I will give you a good summary of what they were talking about. I'm just not going to be super detail oriented about who said what.
Yeah,
So, but anyway, um, I got the score up here now. The final score of the Miami Dolphins game in week one against the Indianapolis Colts was 33-8, Sean. They scored
yeah,
8 points, and Miami Dolphins did not score that 8 points until the fourth quarter. Um, so they were getting destroyed throughout the game. Um,
Yeah,
so yeah, man,
both
kind of
sides of the ball. Which
yeah. So what did you want to talk about that game?
what I want to talk about is a few things. Like number one, it's time to change the narrative, man. Look,
Hmm.
mainstream sports media, y'all want to talk to us all day about how oh man, we got the Dolphins coming in. They're in a dome, so that might be dangerous. Well, that's not what I've been seeing, right? Um, People they still kind of look at them as a somewhat dangerous offense, and I'm
Hmm.
like, they haven't been that in a very long time because it wasn't dangerous last year, and even if you look at the year before, they were dangerous for about 6 7 weeks, they weren't dangerous anymore, Mark. And when I say dangerous, it's crazy because they're supposed to be I would what I would describe as a air it out, high flying offense. And even when you look at 2 seasons ago, it was just Devon Achan and Raheem Mostert lighting people up on the run plays, right? That's what it
Well,
was. Like you could
yes.
Tyreek was having like Mark, Tyreek was having games, right? But you weren't seeing Tua throw for 400 yards or you know what I'm saying? Like like when I say high flying, I'm talking about air raid, passing attack. They're lighting you up. You got two burners on the team. They still have Mike Gesicki, and it was just like Achan ran for 150 and Mostert ran for 80. Tyreek had 8 catches for 120 yards, and then that's the game, right? So, but either way, point is, I think this is it. This is the wake up call for everybody because it's like, look, man, number one, the defense was bad. The defense has just continually gone down since Mike McDaniel has been the head coach. Um, there's no focus on defense right now. They made Daniel Jones look like more than a competent quarterback. He actually probably had, I'm not going to say the best game, but he had one of the best games of any quarterback in week one, which we've never seen Daniel Jones do that before. Daniel Jones was heading up an offense that put up what 33 points was it, Mark?
Hmm.
Yeah, that's we've never seen that before either.
Not from Daniel Jones, that's for sure.
On the flip side, you got the Dolphins not only not playing defense on Daniel Jones, but they could only score 8 points in garbage time. So to me, I'm just looking at this and saying, number one, um, is it time to blow it up, Mark? And two, if it's up to me, after that game, I don't care what anybody says. It's only one game. It's week one. Mike McDaniel has to be on the hot seat, Mark.
Hmm.
And that's what I'm looking at. Is not just him being on the hot seat, but I think it's time to blow it up. I don't know if people agree with me, but I feel like it's at that game. It was painstakingly clear to me that that the Dolphins need to do something. Now, I'll shoot them bail on this one thing, Mark, because I'm not sure if you're aware of this. They said in the during camp and during the preseason, all that stuff, they were saying for the Colts that everybody was there to see what the offense looked like and what the quarterback situation was going to be. And they said the defense continued to steal the show the entire offseason. So um, as far as your questions about fact or fiction, I mean, are the Dolphins offense really that bad, or is the Colts defense really that good? Um,
Um,
yeah.
well, for me, fact, Dolphins are that bad. Like,
Okay.
like, we're gonna, I'm gonna give my explanation after, but I'm gonna tell you the answer first. Fact, Dolphins are that bad. Fiction, Indianapolis Colts aren't that good. Like,
They're not 33-8 good.
no, they're not 33 good, but indeed, they are that bad, dog. It's just that serious here, man. What we're looking at here is chickens coming home to roost for the Dolphins for the most part. You and I have discussed this way back when about the Dolphins when Mike McDaniel's first year with the Dolphins in the first year that they had Tyreek Hill, we discussed like that offense, and like everybody was like, "Oh, look what it looks like. Look what Tua looks like without Brian Flores and all this other stuff." Like they
Mhm.
was trying to paint the back, trying to paint the quarterback. I mean, the former head coach as if it was all his fault and all like paint him in a bad light. Well,
Yeah.
guess what? No, because you and I, if you recall, and if people want to go back, Tua Tagovailoa, he at that time was throwing ducks way back then.
Hmm.
He was throwing passes that were interceptable. It was just that hey, Tyreek Hill was 3 years younger back then. Tyreek Hill was 3 or 4 years younger back then. So guess what? He could run back to the ball. He could do all these other extra things. He was willing, and it was his first year with the team. He was willing to do those extra things to track down the ball and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like there was a lot of balls that Tua threw that a Waddle and Tyreek Hill saved to make extra yardage out of.
Yeah.
Whether it was like a duck that he threw and they caught it, or it was like a short yardage pass and then they ran for the extra yards to make it into something.
That's nasty. He said Peyton Manning, Denver Broncos, Ducks.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's
like
what it
seriously.
is. I mean, yeah, that's
Yeah.
nasty. But
Like
yeah.
that's what he was out there doing that back then. And then like you just discussed the year after, it was the Devon H and Raheem Mostert show and sprinkling in a little Tyreek Hill and and Waddle. So the year after that he was kind of hidden behind the effectiveness of the run game. And so but now and then last year of course he got hurt, and I think also I know like we try to take ourselves seriously, and I'm kind of being somewhat serious, but I am truly somewhat concerned with Mike McDaniel. Like, Doug, like
Yeah.
are you like I say this as a joke, but seriously, man, like are you on some Pablo Escobar stuff going? Do you have some Pablo Escobar stuff going on down there? Like, what is happening with you, sir? Like, you look like you just woke up from a bender every single time you're at the podium, and you're like, I know it's hot down there, but like, why do you look like you're like clammy? Like you got clammy cold sweats going on. Like
Yeah.
it's just it,
Not look, your concerns are real, Mark. Because let's be honest, man. He went from looking like an English school teacher to looking like to looking like what's his name? I can't even think of his name, but he went from looking like that to looking like a Miami Vice character. You know what I'm
right.
saying? He look, you know what I'm saying? And then when you started looking, then all of a sudden it went from him looking just clean and tan, and you're like, okay, you're in Miami, the vibes. You know what I'm saying? You got the shades on, you kind of you swagged up. Okay, cool. Then it was like, okay, look like you just came back from a party, like you said. And to be honest with you, Mark, it wouldn't be the first time there was allegations about somebody in the Miami Dolphins staff having a little extra fun. Sometimes they go to the bathroom and have a little extra fun right before a team meeting. You know what I'm saying? Right before they head up a team meeting. I'm just saying, it's not. It wouldn't even be anything new if this is what was happening, Mark.
Right.
They were doing it at the facility last time. So
Yeah. So it's interesting what's going on there because Mike McDaniel seems less interested in the day to day going ons with the team.
I
And
heard that shit is pure down there, Mark. That's what
yeah, like he seems so much less interested. And speaking of like uh the players seem like they do not respond to any sort of real leadership down there. Um when when Vic Fangio was down there, and it was a question of like, is it Vic Fangio or the players? Well, feels like today we have our answer that it was the players. It was
Yeah.
the culture that was allowed to breed down there, is what is going on now, man. Like so, Dolphins. I have no faith in the Dolphins. Went full. Tyreek Hill went full mutiny last season at the end of the season. Like, hey, I'm out of here. F you guys. And
Yeah.
only to have to show up the next season.
Mhm.
Like, can you imagine going to work, flipping off your boss, flipping off all your coworkers, giving them the X factor and everything? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
like you giving them everything, and then you think Friday is your last day, only to have to come in on Monday and see all those same people again.
Hey, you got that awkward hello. Yeah, what's up? How was your summer? Yeah, it was all right. Yeah, yeah, glad to have you back. You know when these motherfuckers is lying to you. That's
like,
crazy. Like
like
that's
that. Like that's what it's like right now. Like Tua was like, hey, yeah, he has to do a lot to earn back our trust and all this stuff. Like, nah, that come
that's
on,
that's
man.
dead. That's a dead conversation, Mark. I don't know who you like. Oh, did you see that they that reporter actually called out Tua?
Oh no, I did because I shared it, and that
Yeah.
was the next thing I was going to say. Like, because speaking of Tua in press conferences, talking about earning trust and whatever, uh, a reporter decided to hold Tua's feet to the fire with the question that generally most of the time doesn't get asked, and at
It
least not
doesn't.
in this manner. But the reporter asked Tua, "Hey, what was going on with all the picks there?" like,
Hey,
like
his answer is even wilder to me.
yeah, and his answer was like, "Just part of the game." And then he was like you asking me that way is kind of wild. No, sir, you answering this way is kind of wild. Like, because everybody has the question, like, what were you thinking in these moments while throwing these picks?
Yeah,
Now, Tua in this game, he threw two picks, but the two picks was just like, what are you
bad.
doing here? Like they were really, really bad.
Yeah,
Um, Now, with that being said, I do not think Miami will just start like they will just continue to lose badly. But I like if you're looking to Miami to have a good year, no. Like, is there a possibility that they could make the playoffs? Sure, they're in the NFC East. Like, you know what I mean? Like the Jets is still there. The the Patriots is still there. Like, it's not a whole lot of competition for the AFC East.
yeah,
So like they have a shot. You know what I mean? Like the Buffalo, it's the Buffalo Bills show right now, but you know what I mean. They have a shot of making the playoffs, being there,
yeah.
but we're looking at a Bengals situation when it comes to them. Like at at best, they're going to scrape in at 9-8. Like, you
Yeah,
know what I mean?
that's the maximum. That is the absolute best that they're gonna do. And Mark, you're right. The thing is, they have too much talent, right?
Right.
Achan, when
That's what
Achan
makes
gets
it look
going,
bad.
when Achan gets going, who's better, right? Who's more of a game breaker outside of Derrick Henry and Saquon Barkley? There's nobody to me better that once Achan gets going, that's it, right? And then you still have Waddle, which whenever Tua can find him, he's Waddle, and then you have Tyreek Hill, who is still, I don't care what his numbers say, I don't care what anything says. When I watch him on the field, he's one of the best wide receivers in the league. So they have too much talent to where they're just going to continue to lose badly. So, but that's exactly what it is. It's talent. It's not Tua. It's not Mike McDaniel. It's all the requisite talent around them that is good enough to make it look a little bit better. I wanted to answer Troy's question here. He said, "Does the NFL? Yeah, he said, does the NFL catch up to new offenses like Mike McDaniel? Cliff Kingsbury, Sean McVay over a couple of years, or is Tua just that bad? Number one, let me just get that out the way. We already said Tua's that bad, right? But the NFL does catch up, right? But here's the difference. Like when I look at somebody like Mike McDaniel, he's somebody that hasn't been able to pivot. When I look at somebody like Cliff Kingsbury, he may not have had the right organization behind him to get him the personnel that he needed because he looks great in Washington. Um,
No, 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 no. I'm
re-
not going to let you get that off.
well,
For the one reason he asked for Kyler Murray. That was on him.
no, no, no. I'm not letting him off the hook for anything that happened in there. Him asking for Kyler Murray is not him asking for everybody else on the team. Them bringing in a half dead J.J. Watt on defense, and they get the last good year out of Chandler Jones, and then trade him, and then you know what I'm saying? Like, look, man.
Okay.
Now, granted, most of their problems was Kyler Murray, and that was on him. But my point is this: I don't think Cliff Kingsbury changed. I don't think Mike McDaniel's changed. Sean McVay, I put in a different category. We've watched him pivot. We've watched his entire structure of that team change from being one of the most talented teams to where we said they in the back printing money, Mark, to the point to where you looked at one point and it was just like, okay, you guys got Cooper Cup, and they were still able to produce wins and they were still able to be a threat. So Sean McVay is different, and I've seen that offense look one way back in those days, and I've seen it look different now. So Sean McVay is different because he is an innovator. He continues to innovate and change the way that he plays the game, or that the way that he coaches the game, the way that the type of plays that he draws up. He is an innovator, and he continues to innovate. He's different, but all these guys that show up and they have a system that they run, and then they just continue to run that system, and that's all they got, and they don't change it. They don't have any they don't have any ingenuity about them. Yeah, the NFL catches up. They catch up real quick. You got about 2 years of running whatever crap that you're running, and they're on your heels. Okay, I
Yeah.
say it all the time. Defensive coordinators in the NFL are the best coaches in all of American sports.
All right. So moving on from the Dolphins, like who else is there to cover, man? So who uh,
there
where else was there the
were
hype
some.
that oh um you
I'm
know
wondering, are you going to bring it up?
no, what are you going to say?
I was going to say Texans.
Yeah, the Texans. Do we believe that the Texans are really that bad, or was this just a bad showing? I led the last one, so I'm gonna let you lead this
Okay,
one.
well, just real quick for you guys, the Texans lost 9-14 to the Rams. Right now, let's be honest, nobody's expecting the Rams defense to be world beaters. So the 9 points is a little bit of a head scratcher. Um, I'm looking here. CJ Stroud, 19 to 27, 188 yards a pick. Nick Chubb, 13 carries for 60 yards. To be honest, if you look at the stat box, it doesn't really show you anything that says, "Hey, man, they had a terrible game." But what I felt like was going on was a few things. Usually, there's a concerted effort to try to get the ball to Nico Collins, and it didn't feel that way in this game. And and maybe Nico, whenever they do make a concerted effort to get Nico the ball, maybe that is something that makes that offense look phenomenal. Um, Chubb had a great game. 13 carries for 60 yards is not a bad game. Um, but if you continue to take deep and duck passes and plays down the field, then you lend yourself to end up in bad short yardage situations, 3-2, and you try to run the ball, you get stuffed, or you know what I'm saying. I just feel like from what I've seen in comparison from last year going into this year, I think the offense is too conservative. I don't think that the Texans are that bad offensively, to be honest with you, but I
Mhm.
believe the play calling is too conservative. Um, I remember CJ Stroud rookie year, and I remember a whole lot of passes 15 yards and deeper. And I don't see that anymore from the Texans offense. Okay. And I feel like that's a big part of the problem. The Texans defense continues to play and be good. Shout out to D'Amico Ryan. Yeah, D'Amico Ryan's. But nah, man, there needs to be more of a concerted effort to push the ball downfield. But also, with that said, my question to you, Mark, when you get back is, do you even think that the Texans have the proper weapons in the wide receiver core this year to even be able to do that? So yeah, like I think it's a combination of conservative play calling, even going back from last year when they had receivers, to this year not having the receivers and also having conservative play calling. So I don't think the Texans offense is as bad as it looks. They just need a change in play calling offensively. Okay, if you got any more questions, go ahead and ask them now. I'm waiting for Mark to get back. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and try to check out any other games. We got. I'm trying not to talk about my Niners, man. I really am. I really am trying not to talk about the Niners. Our whole team is falling apart right. So you said not for these teams. You ain't got no questions for these teams. Ah, that's crazy. Nah, I hear you. So you just like nah, that ain't it. But yeah, so nah, probably gonna bring up after this. I'm not ready to talk about the Lions yet, not yet, but not ready to talk about not ready to talk about the Lions yet. Not ready to talk about the well, actually, I kind of do want to talk about the Bears. Don't like I said.
All
The
right.
only other thing I see here is nope, nope. I think that's pretty much it. Everything else that happened this weekend is pretty much self-explanatory. But yeah, Mark. So the question I have for you is, um, or what I was saying was the play calling
Yeah.
is still the same kind of conservative play calling from last year. Last year they had the wide receivers though. This year they don't have them, and I was like a combination of that with the conservative play calling is leading their offense to look ho hum. But I do not believe that the players are any worse. I don't believe that CJ Stroud's any worse. I just feel like they don't have the right offensive coordinator to really lead that offense and figure out what's going on there.
Yeah,
Um,
I would kind of agree with that. That their offense isn't very um creative. Their offense isn't very creative right now, and we don't really know what's going on there. But as far their offense does come off very bland, and they do have they have a defensive guy as a head coach, and that sometimes can be the case um, for these type of teams.
mhm,
Um, but there is still, I mean, regardless of that being the case, it's still level reason for concern there because this is year two of we seen like we don't like this may be an overreaction for people because we are looking at the second year because it's week one. But
Yeah.
we are looking at the second year for CJ Stroud for people where it's like, oh, we were having hope, but we're going back into another year, and we saw this play out last season, and
Hmm.
he never got over that hump once he was in it, like in the game, and their offense looked very reminiscent of last. It looked like we were still in last season with the way that their offense looked.
Yeah.
So I can understand people's concern. But with the Texans, I'm kind of in a holding pattern with them. Like, just let's see, let's figure it out. Let's wait. Let's see what's going to happen. Not sure what's going to happen, but we will figure this out when it comes to them. But for me, I just don't. Um, for
I'm not
me,
ready to call it yet. Yeah.
yeah, I'm not ready to call it yet, but I could also tell you this. Right now, I'm glad I have very little stock in the Texans organization. Like when it comes to fantasy football, I'm glad I'm like the only person on my team that is a Texan is Nick Chubb. And
Yeah.
like he's further down my depth chart. Like I'm glad that that's my current case
Yeah.
because I would feel like just from a fantasy football player owner
Yeah.
standpoint, I would hate to have drafted Nico Collins in the first round or second round, and that was the game I saw in week one.
Yeah. I have
But
Nico on one of my teams, and
yeah,
if you could have seen the way that I was staring at the numbers, you know what I'm saying? I have a team. If I'm not mistaken, one of my teams, I have Nico and AJ Brown on the team, and I'm like, yo, what's happening right now, bro? Like I was like, I can't have this. I expect a little bit of inconsistency from AJ Brown because of how many weapons the Eagles have. Texans just have Nico. I can't have Nico get 3 catches.
right,
So yes, Mark, I as somebody who did draft Nico early, I do have a cause for concern after 1 week. Yes, I
yeah.
do.
Well, let's look at it this way because this is a perfect transition. Let's look at it this way. You
Yeah,
have a cause for concern for Nico, but also on the flip side, we have a very big overreaction
yeah,
to um, a similar stat line from someone that was drafted in a lot of cases within the top three spots of drafts, if not number one. One, Jamar Chase, Triple Crown winner last year, but he opened up this season with a dud. The Bengals in total open up this season with a dud,
yeah,
and I feel as though that is a overreaction by fans, like to be like, "Oh, I drafted this guy number one overall, and he gave me this." Yeah, it was like it's rough to see that week one, but again, it's 1 week, and at the end of the day, you have to remember this guy name is Jamar Chase. Like he'll be okay. Jamar Chase had 2 catches for 26 yards on 5 targets.
yeah,
Like that's really bad. Joe Burrow, 14 for 23.
yep.
That was really bad as well.
Because
But
I was going to add the leading receiver, which I have on one of my teams, is T. Higgins. He had 3 for 30. That was it. It wasn't like somebody else was getting the targets or anything like that. It just was a slow game.
yeah, it was a slow game for the Bengals. And but here's the thing: we should be used to Bengals getting off to a slow start. They they rev up very slow. Now we haven't seen them offensively when it comes to uh, the stat lines rev up this slow, but we have seen them go super slow in the beginning.
Yeah,
So we'll see how that plays out for them, but it's Jamar Chase, man. Barring injury, Jamar Chase is going to be effective for you guys in the play. I mean, in your fantasy leagues. Now, the Bengals, on the other hand, Be concerned. Be very concerned about the Bengals as a whole. No need to be concerned about your fantasy stats when it comes to Jamar, but be very concerned with the Bengals as a whole. The Bengals continue to move in a backwards progress, and it's much like the Texans from like you kind of seen this show before, but whereas the Texans is like this is exactly how you were last year. This game looked like, oh, Bengals, you're worse. Like what? Like you are worse. Like how did I just watch a game and your defense looked more effective than your offense?
Yeah, well, number one passing attack in the league last year.
Right.
That is not what we saw in week one.
Uh,
Yeah,
Like
so it is concerning. Well, it's concerning because, and it is a shocker because you're like, if this look, if there's only one thing you're gonna do, you're gonna move the ball through the air, right?
right.
And it's like you didn't even do that one thing. So that's when so I understand how some people it's shocking. You look at it and you're just like, oh my god, what's happening? Because I'm only relying on you to do one thing and you didn't do it. So, but it's like relax, like you said, slow start. Bengals, we watched them year after year not really get going to week four, So in yeah, it's just something that they do. I don't understand why it happens, but it happens every single year, and I think it's just one of those things that if you're surprised or taken aback by the slow start of the Bengals, then at this point it's on you. You're just not paying attention to football.
Now, I do want to bring this up, what Troy said because this is true. Like he's Troy says, Taylor Swift says the fact that the offense played the whole preseason like this and came out like that, that is embarrassing. Which is very true because before it before it was like okay, this team they do not play any of their starters throughout the preseason. And this year, Joe Burrow, who was a big advocate of playing in the preseason with the guys and everything to prevent the slow start. Well, you guys played in the preseason. You guys played practically every game in the preseason, and you came out with a slow start, with a bad week one. And it's like, what's going on here? But but we pretty much know what's going on here, and what we do know what's going on is the fact that this is a poorly run organization. Um, um, Bad environment, a lot of turmoil that they allow to go on for too long and go and trickle into the preseason, trickle into the regular season, and when that happens, man, like the morale of the team and the players are is not going to be there. And I don't think, and this is just me, I may be way off when it comes to this. Joe Burrow doesn't come off as the type of guy that's able to rally the troops. He seems to me he seems like he's far more concerned about his fashion and and himself than than being the leader that this team would need on the Bengals organization.
You know you can't say that, right? You can't you can't say anything bad about Joe Burrow, right? I'm just letting you know, Mark, just in case you didn't know. You can't. You're not allowed to. There's a few people that you're not allowed to just say anything negative about. He's one of them. But yeah, but you're making really good points that don't get talked about, right? And you're talking about leadership, right? And this is the big
No,
thing.
I wasn't.
Oh man,
I
look,
wasn't. I wasn't feeling the Pink Panther. No.
hey, Joe Burrow be coming through the tunnel like like an NBA player, and I don't like that. But them NBA dudes be on one. But yeah, this is the thing. So when you talk about leadership, this is the thing that I feel like the media just completely ignores or just acts like it isn't happening, where they just choose not to speak on the Bengals as an organization anymore at all.
Hmm.
Whenever Joe Burrow and the Bengals aren't doing good, and it's interesting to me because you're bringing up Joe Burrow and the things that he needs to do or the personality type that he needs to be able to help that team thrive in that environment, Mark. And the first thing that comes to my mind is somebody needs to tell me what it is exactly that Zach Martin does. Can somebody please tell me what he does to help this team function? Is he an offensive mind? Is he a defensive mind? Does he get the players to run through a wall for him? What does he do, Mark? Because I just feel like he's just a figurehead coach that's just sitting there, and then nobody ever brings it up when they underperform. They don't bring it like right now. Even us, we brought up, hey man, GM needs to do his job. Why aren't y'all like the defense and everything? We brought up Joe Burrow. Hey man, you should say something about the contract situation, or you should at least you can't say I'm going to take all the money in the world and then say I'm not leaving any money for anybody, but then saying I want these guys to stay, but then also saying it's none of my business. Like you got we it's like so many fires going on that you're trying to put out, and Zach Martin is sitting in the middle of it, just like I'm glad nobody's talking about me because I feel like Mark, you take a competent coach, any competent coach, and you give them those weapons. Even with a bad offensive line, you still have Joe Burrow, and he's already shown that he can work through it. And I just ask myself, how is it that we watched them screw up like 4 games last year in the end of in the end moments of the game from bad coaching, and nobody's brought up his name yet, Mark. So yes, there's a lot going on with the Bengals, and I think that you know I think more there should be more conversations had about Zach Martin
Right. Now,
or Zach Taylor. My bad, I say
yeah,
Zach Martin, Zach Taylor.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I want to address this from Rob real quick. He said they need to spend money on the defensive side of the ball. Well, I'm going to say this: they need to spend money on the offensive side of the ball. How are we in the what? Is this the fifth or the sixth season for Joe Burrow? Help me understand. Which one is it?
This is I believe this is season. This should be season 5.
Okay, so we're in the fifth season of Joe Burrow, and the offensive line has yet to improve. There has yet to be a truly concerted effort to improve that offensive line for Joe Burrow. Now, Joe Burrow, I feel as though he's a good
Oh no,
player.
season 6, Mark.
That okay? That I did think it was okay. So,
Right.
but yes, we're talking about. So we've had 5 prior seasons and no real concerted effort to improve the offensive line. Yet we've watched this dude get hurt. We watched this dude get sacked a ton and barely make it through a season. We watched a lot of things happen with Joe Burrow and no real concerted effort to trade for a guy, go after a guy. Like Mekhi Becton was a free agent, and yet somehow Mekhi Becton ended up with the Chargers. Like there was a lot of there, like we're talking about a right guard from a Super Bowl winning team was a free agent, and he ended up on the Chargers instead of in your organization. There's a lot of there's a lot going on there with that organization. It's pretty bad. But I also blame but this is where Joe Burrow and people and Jamar Chase, namely those two, deserve blame. Like you came in with your Smith and Weston and your bandana over your face and said give me all the cash, put it in the bag, and then you said set through caution to the wind. Like, come on, dog. It doesn't work like that if you want to win games. If you want your money, cool. You did that. But if you want to win games, it does not work like that. And shout out to Matthew Petty, but this is another reason why Jalen Hurts is better than Joe Burrow. Because Jalen Hurts understands, hey, I can't go in here holding holding this place hostage if I want to win. And guess what?
Yeah.
Keeping the main thing is the main thing. So winning is the main thing. So if I want to win, I have to tell my agent, hey, don't go for all of the money. Make sure my guys can still be here, please.
Yeah, this Troy is that you're absolutely right. Him saying I don't give a fuck how much money is left for Higgins, pay me the max. Is
Yeah,
still so wild to say. It is. It's just don't. There's only one other player I've seen do that, and that's Drew Brees. And you've seen the salary cap hell that they put themselves in every year because Drew Brees would get a contract and get the craziest contract, and then 3 years into the 5 year contract, Drew Brees is like, nah, somebody's getting paid more than me. Y'all need to change my contract again. Like, I'm just saying, I've only seen one other person
well, Drew
like
Brees was the one that kept coming back to the table, but there was somebody else that did it.
who
Um, Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco won the Super Bowl and said, "F it, give me, give me all the cash."
you
He
know
said,
what,
throw it in
Mark?
the bag, and
You know
then
what, Mark? I will, and I hate to do this, but I gotta shoot Joe Flacco some bail here. Okay, he won a Super Bowl. He knew that he had no business walking around with a laminate that said Super Bowl winning QB. He knew he didn't. He said, if I don't get my money now, Mark, I ain't never getting it. Okay. So look, he happened to win a Super Bowl in a contract year, Mark. Okay. Look, I cannot blame Joe Flacco for saying it's now or never, baby. It's now or never. Like I can't, but at least he won the Super Bowl, okay? He knew it was time to cash out and he did. You know what I'm saying? What I can't defend is somebody that is absolutely Super Bowl capable and is going to be Super Bowl capable for the next 15 years, Mark, as long as they stay healthy. I cannot accept that person saying, I got to get my money now. There shouldn't be any desperation in it for Joe Burrow. And that's my problem. He's like, forget desperation of getting his money as a quarterback. This man obviously spends a lot of time in the fashion world and tries to make sure that he has all the endorsements in the world. Okay. So he don't even need, like, I'm not gonna say he don't need a quarterback money. Quarterback money is different, but he makes so much money outside of the NFL that somebody like Joe Flacco wouldn't be able to make. So it does not make sense for me for Joe Burrow at all. It's just you want it all. That's what it just comes down to that. You want it all. You want the rings, you want the Super Bowl, you want a defense, you want an offensive line, but you also want $70 million a year. Okay, that's not how this works.
fair. All
Yeah,
right. So I think we done it when it came to the Bengals. We'll see what the Bengals actually have, but they should 100% be 0-1. Um, I did want to bring that up real quick. They got they got dominated in the yards department and somehow won the game. Like they didn't score in the second half. No, they scored 3 points total in the second half and won the game. Like
when you kick 3 field goals and get one touchdown, like the Browns did, then this is what happens. You have to convert.
yeah, that's crazy. Like you
Yeah,
have
right.
to.
I mean, they did get outgained severely. Like time of possession, you look at time of possession, Browns had time of possession. You look at everything that matters, right? You know, and the Browns succeeded in everything that matters, and then they lost the game.
Except for the kicking department.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Rob said, "Hey, if he said a few messages ago that if the Browns had a kicker, then then the Bengals would have lost," and he's not wrong. But with that being said, are we overreaction? Maybe, but are we blaming the kickers for Week 1 because there was a lot of misses throughout just about every game. You had a kicker miss. Um, and they said that there's a different type of ball this year that's supposedly supposed to help these kickers kick these field goals or whatever. Seems like this ball is doing the opposite. I don't like so. Do you think? Do you think it's this new ball, or is it the kicker? The kickers themselves. You
Look,
think
I'm gonna be
what's
real
going on
honest
with
with
these kickers, dog?
I'm gonna be real honest. They had the whole off season to practice these kicks, man. Look, they had all off season to practice these kicks. I can tell you that. That's number one. Number two, like Rob said, they got one job, Mark. They got one job. That's number two. Number three, which is more important than the rest of it, is this: the quality of the average kicker in the NFL has been trending down over the years. I think this is a kicker thing. You
All
look,
right, real quick. I just want so we're not just talking.
okay,
I want to talk. I want to say what this new kicking ball rule is. All right. So, new kicking ball. The NFL has implemented a significant new rule change allowing teams to prepare their own kicking balls, K balls, in advance. A move confirmed by Mike Tirico and set to impact the 2025 season. This change permits teams to break in the K balls before the game, just like regular game balls, addressing long-standing complaints from kickers about the balls being too hard, slick, and difficult to grip. The adjustment is expected to improve kicking performance, with some experts suggesting a potential 10 to 15 yard swing in distance due to the better feel of a well broken in ball. The new rule allows teams to prepare K balls under the same process as regular game balls, ending the previous requirement to submit them for inspection exactly 2.5 hours before kickoff, with no time for pre-game preparation. K-balls has historically been new, hard, and slick footballs, distinct from the worn-in game balls used by quarterbacks and receivers, leading to frustration among kickers and punters. The change follows years of complaints with kickers like Pat McAfee and Justin Tucker, highlighting the significant difference in performance between the fresh K ball and the broken in ball. The NFL introduced the K ball in 1999 to ensure consistency and fairness by using new balls for all kicking plays. But the new rule now allows teams to customize the feel of these balls. All right, so to be very clear, these balls are exactly like every other NFL ball. It's just that now they're broken in a particular way. So we may have a deflate gate when it comes to football, to the kicking balls now.
but
That's
but
basically what they're saying.
but this is sanctioned. So this is my thing, Mark. You asking about the ball? So you mean to tell me they're missing the kicks and they get to personally break
Yeah.
the ball
So
in?
so you broke the ball in and you missed the kick. Is what is
Hey,
is
It's
that
not.
what's happening?
Hey, you wonder why Jake Moody got cut after week one? It's like, what do we need to? We did everything we could, man. We stood up in front of the media. Okay, now I'm getting personal. We stood up in front of the media. We said, nah, this is our guy. You know what I'm saying? This is after he's missing kicks in preseason. Nah, this is our guy. We have the utmost confidence in him. We're backing him. Like, they gave you the public, the public vote of confidence. They gave you the behind the scenes vote of confidence. They said, we don't care how many kicks you miss, Jake Moody. We love you here. You're here. You missed a million of them last year. We don't care. We're right behind you, man. We got you. Boy broke in his own balls and then still end up coming out there and missing a 27-yarder mark. Okay, look, man, that's when you cut somebody. Look, you got your own person. You showed up to the bowling alley with your bag, with your name on it. You pulled out the bowling ball. It's engraved with your name on it. You know what I'm saying? You got your own personal shoes, and then you bowled a 85. Okay, look, you can't put it on the rest of us. This is on you now, sir. So that's the way I feel about it. You bringing your own equipment to the game when it comes to you. You just got your shoes, you got your cleats, and you got your ball, and it's both customized by you.
Yeah.
A bad hold, you can blame somebody else. But outside of that, this is all the kickers.
Yeah. No, I agree. Um all right. So yeah, the all the kickers that I don't know what their issue is here, man. But I do know that one kicker that is working out pretty damn good. One Cam Little. I hope you keep doing it, baby. Keep being the man.
But yeah,
Yo, I seen him kick that 71 yarder, and I said, "That's my kicker." All for every fantasy football league.
that was going to be my answer to you, Mark. Before you get into the description of the new ball rule, I was going to say we got dudes kicking 71 yarders. What's the matter? Like, what's the matter with y'all? You know what I'm saying? We seen Brandon Aubrey last year, the year before. Look, man, I seen Brandon Aubrey kick kicks from 63 yards, and he looked like he had an extra 10 yards he could have went. Look, man, we got guys like that walking around here. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to see nobody miss a 27 yarder. Mark, when I tell you that I've kicked a ball in practice before, and I'm telling you, you want to know what my range is, Mark? 30 yards. Anything
Yeah.
other than 30 yards, I can't hit it. I can go out and kick you a 27 yarder. Matter of fact, Mark, I could go out and miss a 27 yarder for you if you want. Okay? Sign me. Okay? I could go do what Jake Moody did.
All right. All right. Moving on. Um. Oh, here we go. Baltimore Buffalo. Yeah. I'm just gonna say this about the Baltimore Buffalo game, man. The more things change, the more things stay the same. You know what I mean? Oh, we're in a different year. We're in a different year for sure, but it's the same. Like I watched the Ravens have everything on paper. I watched the Ravens put up a phenomenal game, and then I watched the Ravens choke it away. Like I and and I watched Josh Allen and company come roaring back in a regular season game and get all the praise. And we all know how this is going to play out in the playoffs. It's going to be a loss to the Chiefs. So like, who cares?
Look. This is what I want to say because I got to get this off my chest, dog. And it's summed up very simply. I was so upset when people were talking about the game and they were saying, and this is when the Ravens were up by like 2.5 scores or something like that. In my keeper league, in my fantasy football keeper league, somebody said, "Man, so we could just go ahead and chalk in the Ravens for number one seed, right? We could just go ahead and do that and throw Lamar's name up there for MVP." I replied, Mark. They were up by 2 scores. I replied, "I won't do it. The Ravens will not fool me again for the fifth time. Okay? It's not happening. It's not happening, Mark, for the fifth time, Mark. It's how many times does it have to happen for you to get it? I said I learned long ago, and they not getting me the fifth time in a row. Like it's not happening, bro. Every time you put your faith in the Ravens, every time they look like a juggernaut, you can count on it. There's gonna be a game. It might be a regular season game, Mark. Everybody does this, and what pisses me off, Mark, is they're gonna go on a win streak this year, Mark. They're gonna be on fire. Derrick Henry's gonna be running for almost 200 yards a game. He's gonna be averaging 10 yards a carry. Lamar is gonna look like an MVP. Like he's not just an MVP. Mark's gonna look like the MVP of MVPs. He's gonna throw 4 touchdowns. He's gonna have 3 incomplete passes. He's gonna rush for 2. These dudes are gonna throw up almost 50 points and they're gonna destroy somebody. And it's gonna happen for 4 weeks straight. And everybody, Mark, is going to completely forget about the 1 or 2 games that they choked away in the beginning of the season. They're also going to forget about all the playoff games that they choked away in the previous seasons. It happens every single year. As soon as they get hot in the second half of the season, it's all of a sudden this is a different team than existed before. When in fact, Mark, it's the exact same Ravens team that exists every single year.
So this says Rob said 17 blown leads since 2008.
Mark, I saw a graphic that said when they have a
No,
lead of
that's
anywhere between 16 to 19 points, and they were just like showing the record. I can't remember. They said going back 5 years, and they said the Ravens were like 19-6.
If that is true, if it really is 17 blown leads since 2008, that is a average of blowing a lead once a season. Like what? That is an average of blowing a lead once a season.
Yeah, because like I said, all I know is I saw one that said it like the record was like 19-6 when they have like a huge lead. 19-6 when having that big of a lead is not a good record.
Right.
The next closest team was the Bills, and they were like 13-2. You see what I'm saying? Like, and then as you go down the list, it goes like two losses, one losses, and then after that, nobody's losing when they have those leads. Everybody
Hey,
else is winning those games.
Taylor Sports is over here speaking gospel. He said, I said earlier I was going to be nasty with the narrative, so let me start. If Jalen Hurts was on the Ravens, they don't lose that game. Let me pound the table one time for you. Let me pound the table two times for you. All right. So listen, he ain't wrong. He ain't wrong. Now you can say, now you can go ahead and have Lamar Jackson in your top three and put Jalen Hurts in number 11 spot. But I tell you one thing that doesn't happen when Jalen Hurts has a lead, he ain't letting it go. He ain't letting it go like that. Nah, nah.
Mark,
We're not losing that game. I'm
you
not.
want to.
You're not going to give me the ball at the end, and I'm going to go 4 and out. That's not how that happens.
There's a few things that Jalen Hurts understands that I feel like at times Lamar doesn't understand. Number one, ball control. Okay, we're not turning it over. Okay. Number two, clock control. Okay, we gotta kill time. Mark, we have a lead. Number three, the most is three, but it's the most important. Mark, if you watch that Cowboys game, that man Jalen Hurts took off every single time that he needed to. Every single time that you're like, damn, he should probably run up. There he goes, right? That's not what happens with Lamar. Lamar sometimes he just doesn't take off when he should. You could go pick up the yards right now. There's nothing open. Just go. It doesn't. Lamar does not know when to just tuck the ball and run, which sounds crazy to say when you think about who Lamar Jackson is, Mark. Right? Am I crazy though? Because when I looked at that Cowboys game, every time he made a play with his legs, I was like, the play's dead. It's third down. They're gonna have to kick a field goal. They're gonna have to punt. And then you know what? Jalen Hurts is, even though he's still looking down the field, he's like, you know what? Oh, nothing's there. Boom, I'm bringing it down and I'm taking off. Every single time he needed to, he did it. And I feel like I don't ever feel like that when I'm watching a Lamar game. I feel like sometimes he does it and he'll make a huge play. Like, shoot, there was a play where he escaped that sack, Mark. He was not supposed to, that play was never supposed to happen. Lamar ran back 15 yards, barely escaped the sack, almost got tackled by the ref. Okay. And then he ran and he picked up the first down from 15 yards behind the line of scrimmage. Okay. Now, yes, that was a phenomenal play, but that was bad decision making, Mark. Like, I don't know. But yes, you're right. I don't think Jalen Hurts loses that game. I just
Yeah.
think he understands certain things, and Jalen Hurts' decision making is so much better than almost. I'm not going to say almost. I feel like his decision making is just better than every other quarterback in the NFL. And maybe I'm crazy, but that's what I feel like. He might not be the most talented. He might not have the biggest arm when it comes to all the quarterbacks. He might not be the most accurate, which I think he's very accurate, but he might not be the most accurate. He might not be the fastest runner. That man will make the right decision every time you need him to.
Right. All right. So I got two. I want to get into two more reactions of last week, and then we're going to be get up out of here because the
Hmm.
rest of these don't really matter as much. Um, Detroit versus Green Bay. Green Bay scored 27. Detroit scored 13. Right off the gate, I'm just going to say this, man. Are you overreacting to be concerned about Detroit? Absolutely not. In fact, I would say
I'm
to
glad
you,
you answered.
I would say to you guys, if if you are just now getting concerned about Detroit, then you don't pay attention very well. And I thought that the media having Detroit so high on the pedestal for this season, I found that to be weird. And this is going to, and yes, this is one game. Who knows what's going to happen? But my prediction is that this is basically who Detroit is. This is my prediction. You cannot go through a season and lose your genius offensive coordinator, lose your defensive coordinator, and then lose the assistant coordinator as well. You cannot lose all three of them and then be like, "Hey, we're going to be all right." No, no, you're not Kendrick Lamar. You're not Pharrell. You're not going to be all right. I promise you that. I trust me. I know you're not. Because guess what? The guy that was cooking up all the schemes, he's gone. And then so you think guys like that just grow on trees? Like
They
yes,
don't.
the guy yes, Dan Quinn, he had the balls to call the fourth downs and all that stuff. He had it all when it or Dan Campbell. He had it all when it comes to doing all that stuff. Yes. But guess what? The person that allowed for that was Ben Johnson, cuz Ben Johnson had the play that said it's 4th and 10. I have this genius play that nobody's expecting that will work here. Like going for it on 4th and 10 with a vanilla play, not gonna work, man. You needed that genius guy. Ben Johnson was the fuel for this offense, and that's what we saw right out the gate. This doesn't look good. Like, and they said there, I forget what the record said, but it was like Jared. I didn't even think it was fair to even bring it up, but it was like Jared Goff without Ben Johnson or Sean McVay. Like,
That's a
like
crazy stat to do.
I
Don't.
was like, why would you do that? Because like you're saying, hey, Jared Goff looks terrible with bad coordinators. Well, duh.
Yeah.
like, yeah, most people would. Like, what are you talking about? But but now you also lost your defensive coordinator. And not that I necessarily think Aaron Glenn is all that great. I just because I watched Aaron Glenn in Detroit for through these years, and last year was truly probably the first time that Detroit's defense was somewhat competent, which I found interesting because
Everybody was hurt.
last year was the year where the most of the defense was hurt. So
Yeah.
I was like, how like you guys found competency through being hurt, but anyway, what you did lose in Aaron Glenn was consistency. You lost a foundation. You lost because Dan Campbell, Ben Johnson, Aaron Glenn. That's too much turnover. Like losing Ben Johnson, Aaron Glenn, and the assistant offensive coordinator. That's way too much turnover at one time. Like so now everything is new for your entire team. The only thing that's not new is Dan Campbell, and we know that Dan Campbell's
Strong
strong
suit.
suit is not X's and O's.
It's not. He's a coach.
Yeah,
His strong suit is preparing you
right,
mentally for the game, galvanizing the troops, making
right.
sure you get 110% out of everybody. That's his superpower, right? And you know what I'm saying? But when it comes to X's and O's, he can't help you, Mark. And let's and I want to say this. I want to be very clear. He's a former tight end who doesn't know anything about offensive X's and O's. And even though people look at him as like a kind of a tough coach, he's kind of a tough guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Usually those guys are the guys that you think are defensive coordinators. He's not a defensive coordinator either, Mark. So he's just a head coach.
Right. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like
Yeah,
because they're like guys like that can be effective because you
absolutely.
do need that type of coach. Um
Yeah,
like for instance, you know who needs that type of coach right now? Miami Dolphins. They
they do need
need
somebody like that.
they need a Dan Campbell. But
They
here's
used
the
to have a Dan Campbell named Dan Campbell, but they used he was the interim coach. He came in and won too many games.
right.
They went 8-8, and they was like, look, man, this was supposed to be a down year, and they chased him up out of there. So I mean,
So, facts. I
but
mean, but so this is where you have that. Like they need a Dan Campbell.
yeah,
Like so, but when you have a Dan Campbell, you also can't allow those coordinators out the door. Like
um,
like if you have to pay the offensive coordinator head coach money, pay that offensive coordinator head coach money.
yes,
Like if that will keep him, if the money will keep him in the door, give him the money
yes,
because you do not want to roll the dice with a new coordinator. That's not what you want to do.
yeah. So real quick, I want to answer Troy's question. He said, "Do you think teams should go for coordinators that don't want to be head coaches like Vic Fangio because it,
Absolutely.
because of your team? Your teams are good. Teams are going to take them." Now, yes, there's, and I think that's a two-part answer. What Mark just said is the first part, but both of them go hand in hand. Like we have our running back coach has been he's like he's like in his 70s. He was the running back coach for all the Mike Shanahan Broncos years, and he's been our running back coach since then, right? With the Niners. He don't want to do nothing but running back coach, and he's the best at it. Okay. Yes, you want guys like that, and you should seek out guys like that. Okay. He before we picked him up, he was not doing anything, Mark. Somebody could have picked up that guy, but they didn't. As soon as Kyle Shanahan became our coach, we grabbed him. Okay.
Well,
So
here's example of what you're talking about and one that you can relate to, Troy, is Jeff Stoutland. The reason why the Eagles' offensive line is allowed to be great year after year after year after year,
yeah,
regardless of the turnover at the offensive coordinator position, at the head coach position, is Jeff Stoutland. Jeff Stoutland does not seek anything else. He is Jeff Stoutland. He is the
thank you.
offense. He is the offensive line coach, and he is fantastic. He's not just fantastic at his job. He might be the best
I think
at
he's the
his
best,
job
Mark.
because in general it feels like it does not matter who we get into this building. It once Jeff Stoutland puts his hands on them, they are now going to be a competent offensive lineman.
That is true. We've seen guys that were average, and then all of a sudden they look like world beaters when they're there. I think you guys do. I think he is the best. I'm just to be clear about that. But real quick, so that was the first part. The other part is what Mark said. Pay the man. I don't care if you want to be a head coach. I know you want to be a head coach. Mike McDaniel, I know you want to be a head coach. But I feel like our offense has was the best version of balance between run and pass when Mike McDaniel was our run game coordinator. Okay, and we still look great when he was our um, he was the run game coordinator and assistant coach, but you know what I'm saying? Like him as a run game coordinator, he gave us everything that we needed. We were the best versions of ourselves when it comes to balance at that time. Yes, he wants to go coach somewhere. How that you open up the pocketbook, Mark. You say how much? Excuse me? How much is it going to cost to keep you here instead of going and chasing the head coach? Look, one more contract with us. Guess what? You're gonna that head coaching job is going to be available for you, especially if we have success. It's still going to be there. I'm just trying to delay you from going to wherever you're trying to go to, man. How much? And if it costs you head coach money to keep that coordinator there, you do. We said, Mark, the first time we had that conversation, we said that about the Atlanta Falcons and Kyle Shanahan. Dan Quinn's the head coach. You have a defensive head coach, which usually, if you want to have success as a defensive head coach, you find your offensive coordinator. He had his offensive coordinator. Even when you look at the mistakes that was made during the Super Bowl, that's something that you can come back the next year as Dan Quinn and say, look, when it comes to crunch time, you not having a steering wheel no more. And I feel like Dan Quinn is a good enough coach to understand that. So you guys could have been chasing another Super Bowl appearance, and instead, look, man, we can't do anything. He wants to go be a head coach. Pay the man. Give him $8 million a year. I don't care, man. So yes, find the guys that don't want to be the head coach, but also if there is somebody that is young talent that has never been a head coach before, and you have them on their staff or have them on your staff, you pay them head coach money or close to it to keep them there for another 3 or 4 years so you can continue to make your runs. You can't keep them there permanently, I understand. They eventually will go to be a coach. Dog, you're Mike McDaniel. You're 32 years old, bro. You got another 40 years to coach. Okay? I'll pay you this extra money, you stay here.
Yeah. All right. So answering Sharice's question, what record do you think they will have at the end of the season? As far as Detroit goes, I think at best they're finishing 7-9. At best, so
I
7
think
and 9.
I think you're right at best at
Or
7-9.
well, 7 and I guess
7-10. 7-10.
7
Yeah,
and 10.
my bad. It's 17 games. 7-10 at best. I agree with Mark. I think they can finish anywhere between 5-12 and 7-10. That's. I don't think they lose more than 12 games. I would be
Like
shocked if that happened.
seriously, I'm not even kidding you. If they go 8-9, I would say they overachieved.
Yeah, they've gotten significantly worse on both sides of the ball, and whenever that happens, it just means losses.
Like
Okay,
so,
and you got to think they're not equipped. They don't have the offensive coordinator for them to go for it on fourth downs all the time. That
right.
saved them from a lot of losses in the
Yeah,
past.
their philosophy of going for it doesn't work when you don't have the creativeness attached to it. So
Hey, Rob, I already said McDaniel's going to be fired before the year's out. I said that as soon as that game was over. I said I'll be surprised if he make it to the end of the season, especially if it continues to go the way that it's been going. Um, and Kingsbury needs to get a lot of credit for Daniel's success in Washington. I disagree. I agree, but I disagree, Rob. I feel like if you really paid attention to Daniels and his own personal regiment that he goes through to prepare, and he is just a cool-headed person that feels like he's always in control, and it seems like everything is slowed down for him. We seeing all these frauds come out of college saying that the NFL game is slow. There's only one quarterback that I've seen that says it's slow, which he really didn't have to say it. It just looked like it was slow for him. And then when it was explained, he's doing the VR reps at double speed, triple speed to make sure he can get his reads quickly. Then that explains things. So like some of that success that Jaden Daniels is having is because of Jaden Daniels. But I do give Cliff Kingsbury some credit for the overall success of the offense there in Washington. So he gets partial credit. He don't get all the credit for Daniels.
okay. So you did just tee up my transition here because you said players. A lot of people claim that the game is slow for them. Well, one person that claimed that the game is slow for them when transitioning was one arrogant Caleb Williams. It doesn't seem that slow now, does it, Caleb? They lose 27-24 while leading practically while leading the entirety of the game until the fourth quarter. What's crazy to me is that I actually have to look this up because I feel like Minnesota had 3 turnovers in the first half. I mean, not first half. They had 3 turnovers in the first quarter. And when I say turnovers, I mean like 3 and outs or whatever.
Yeah,
Like,
like turnover on downs type
yeah,
stuff. Yeah.
yeah, like I feel like the Bears were on top of the Vikings offense, and yet
The,
somehow we watched the Bears sit at 7 points for almost 2 quarters. Like for almost 2 quarters, we watched the Bears offense sit at 7 points while their defense went lights out. And it felt insane to me. I watched Caleb Williams throw duck after, well, not even duck. He's
he
just,
was just overthrows,
yeah, just
underthrows to the
overthrows.
right, to the left. He was just missing by
Yeah,
wide margins.
and it turns out that he is one of the most inaccurate quarterbacks in existence. Just give me a second. I gotta pull this up. All
Yeah,
right.
please do.
So here we go. Since Caleb Williams joined the NFL in 2024, he leads all quarterbacks with 52 incompletions due to overthrows. That is 17 more than the next highest person. The next highest person is Bo Nix. You want to guess how many overthrows Bo Nix has, Sean?
How much?
No, I'm asking you to guess. Now, mind you, I'm going. Caleb Williams has 52.
And you
And
said 17 more, so that's 35.
yes,
So, but this is
I
what
wanted you. I didn't want you to do the math. I wanted you to guess.
well,
But
forget the guessing, Mark. Let's get down to the real important numbers. How many more passing attempts did Bo Nix have than Caleb Williams? Because I remember last year, Mark. I don't
yeah,
remember Caleb Williams airing it out. I
no, he
don't remember
didn't.
him throwing the ball a lot. So for him to be one of the QBs that threw, he's probably close to in between the bottom half and the bottom quarter of the league in passing attempts. And yet he's leading by a large margin in overthrows. That's extremely concerning.
Well, all right. So I'm just going to pull this up real quick, and I don't know because it did something I don't want it to do. That's why. All right. So, man, can you just show me what I want to see? All right, here we go. 2024 season. All right, so Caleb Williams had 562 attempts. Um, that was his total last season. So now let's go to one Bo Nix, and I just said 562. All right. Mm,
And just to be clear, Bo Nix wasn't airing it out either, but still,
no.
I feel like Bo Nix had more attempts.
Well, we'll see if you are correct about that. As soon as I find, there it is. I'm like, where are they?
Yeah.
As soon as I find one Bo Nix.
Shout out to my nieces that just popped up.
Okay. Splits. Give me the splits. All right. So 2024. 500 is okay. Only a few more. He had 567.
That's still not good. So they had the same amount of attempts, but he had 17 more overthrows.
Yeah.
That's still not good. It's
Yeah.
not. It's not good. You know.
No, it's
Um,
not.
it's
And
not.
among all 32 QBs in week 1, Williams was the worst in off-target throws, in off-target throw rate at 28.6%.
That's what it felt like.
28.6% was off target. Now, here's the thing, dog. Here's the funny thing about that. At 20, like, this was week 1, and a scathing article just came out that said from Tyler Dunn that talked about Caleb Williams and the entirety of that organization. It talked about them in a way that said, "Hey, Caleb Williams came into the league arrogant. He didn't want to take direction. He didn't want to take coaching." Um, and Ryan Poole, the GM of the Chicago Bears, was so over the top in love with
Hey,
him.
Mark, sorry to pause. Look on the ticker. It says Barnwell on week one. What is real? What is not? Let's size up the legitimately. Hey, dog, they still in our headlines, Mark. What's going on, man? What's going on right now, dog? They still our whole title, the headline, everything. What's going on right now, man? Man,
Yes,
they look. They even brought up the Dolphins. Look, man, come on. What's going on here, Mark? Somebody, they out. The watchful eye is out, bro. I don't know if you can see it,
hey, but listen,
but
they
go ahead.
said,
Sorry.
but yeah, no, they also, but they said about Tyler Dunn. Tyler Dunn was saying about Caleb Williams is that, um, allow me to get back in frame here, but they were saying that Caleb um, is just so basically ahead of himself where he thinks like, oh, his shit don't stink, and it's basically kind of the Bears' thought fault as well that he feels that way. He They said that Ryan Poole basically knew that he wanted this guy and believed in him in such a way that they ignored all the signs uh, that came that said, nah, maybe there's something going on here. He would always excuse it away, and anything that he wanted, they kind of bent over backwards for him to have it. And so by the time that it was time for some tough coaching, it was too late. It was too late. He didn't respect it or anything like that. And um it was, but the one interesting thing and it was Tyler Den also suggested that Caleb Williams has a learning disability. He like
That's still wild when I hear it, Mark. That's still wild. Yeah.
like he was like some like I find that I'm like I don't really want to talk about that because it's kind of
No,
serious
no.
to say somebody has a learning disability, but it was suggested like, hey man, this dude like Tyler Dunn is suggesting that he has a learning disability that he did not disclose in the beginning um, to the NFL organizations. But one thing that you and I talked about in the past, particularly when Caleb was still at USC, um, was that Caleb is emotional. Caleb folds under the pressure due to being emotional, and and I mean, it kind of seemed like we were just bagging on him because he had nails and to he went and climbed up to his mom to cry in her arms and everything like that, like on the field. And it seemed, and but this is what we were talking about. Like that moment to me stood out. Like, oh nah, you can't do
Oh
that
yeah.
as
Yeah.
an NFL player. Like it's okay to cry and everything, but the way that you're going about it, it just feels off, and we couldn't quite put. I couldn't quite articulate it in a way for people to understand. But now I let me use that moment as an example of the things that he's doing now. When you watch, I don't know if you guys have seen it, but there is a video circulating where Caleb Williams is in practice and they're throwing into the net. Caleb Williams misses every single ball into the net and immediately throws a tantrum. And I'm not saying that as if like in any hyperbolic way. He
Yeah.
truly threw a tantrum, like threw the ball down, kicking the air, like pouting and doing little kid antics while walking away and frustrated. And then you also see when he throws a overthrow, hit his focus. he loses focus, and I do that as well sometimes. Like, but I'm also not an NFL QB.
Quarterback. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're not
like
going for a quarterback. Yeah,
I'm not
so
being paid millions of dollars.
yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah. You know,
like for instance, just to let you guys know, earlier today I played the game against Sean, and in Madden, we were playing the very first three drives of Madden. My team fumbles all three. Like the first three drives, I had a player fumble all three, and after that, I was I was kind of dejected, and then some other things happened, and I was like, all right, I'm not really in this game anymore. My focus is off, and I'm just elsewhere going through the motions. But guess what? I'm playing the game for fun, and this game just stopped being fun for me. It's not my job. Madden is not the job that I have. Like,
yeah,
so Madden does not require my focus. The NFL requires Caleb Williams focus. So when you have an overthrow Caleb Williams like you did this past Sunday several times, or not this past Sunday, but this past Monday several times, you can't then go onto the bench, sit down, and go like this and check out and looking at the stars. You can't do that. I need you to be in your tablet figuring out the next move. I need you to be talking to your QB coach and asking, what am I doing motion wise and how can I fix this? I I need you to do something other than checking out
yeah,
mentally.
yeah. So there's a few things to that. Like back to the heading to the sideline thing. We've seen many of quarterbacks uh, deal with frustration, right? And for example, an acceptable response, an acceptable emotional overflow response is, hey, you're walking back to the bench, you're throwing a towel down on the bench, it, which I understand slightly is still frustration, right? And
Hmm.
then as soon as you sit down, you plop down, and then you got your tablet in front of you, right? I've seen people on the tablet looking at the tablet, and when they see the play replay, I've seen them get up and smash the tablet. Mark,
Right.
okay, but even in that moment, it's a hey, I can't believe I did that type of thing, and then it's them saying, I'm even though I'm frustrated, I'm coming here to sit down and look at the tablet so I can immediately fix the problem. And then in watching it, they got frustrated again. But I'm okay with you getting frustrated if you're making going through the motions and making an effort, and I can see you making an effort, a concerted effort to try to not do that again, instead of you sulking. There's a difference between frustration that is kind of an anger thing and you're just like, I can't believe I messed up, and you're angry about it, it's bothering you to the point to where you don't want it to happen again, you don't want to feel like that again, versus I messed up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you're sulking, you're not, there's nothing about his body language, Mark, on the side of the when he went to the bench, nothing about his body language said, mentally in my mind right now, I'm going through ways to fix this. None of his body language said that, right? So, and then when you're talking about it, I saw somebody, I can't remember where I saw it, a video, but somebody was talking about the game, right?
He needs the emotional support.
Oh, that's
Anyway, that's
crazy.
hilarious.
So I saw, so he looked like the type that would have one. I'm just saying, like, but I saw somebody talking about it, and they were bringing up the first overthrow. They were like, Caleb Williams started the game perfect. He didn't have any incomplete passes, and his first incomplete pass was an overthrow. He had like five, or whatever, however many completions. He had one overthrow after starting perfect, and they said that overthrow in the first quarter, that was it. That was him stomping off to the sideline and being upset. And then they were like, from that point on for the rest of the game, that was his attitude. That was his emotional state that carried through the rest of the game. So yes, Mark, you're absolutely right. It is a concern when that is your emotional state. What's even more of a concern is I've seen people get frustrated, slam things. I've seen guys. We seen Mark. We seen the Debo Samuel, Jake Moody thing happen. The man turns. He gets the next drive. He goes and makes a kick, and it's like everything is forgotten, right? Why is it that those players can move on?
Not forgotten for me. I would
Not for you, but what I'm
not for
saying
me.
is,
I would,
how is it that how is it that Jake Moody can move on and go kick a field goal,
he
but
shouldn't
you
have.
as the
He,
quarterback
sh-
who's supposed to
he
be the emotional leader for the entire team, how is it that you can't gather yourself after an overthrow? You
I'm
didn't get
telling
punched in the face.
I'm telling you
You
right
didn't get
now. I'm telling
you
you
didn't
right now. He
you didn't get
shouldn't have.
punched in the face, did you? I'm
If
trying to figure out why you can't get
if I
over it.
was if I was Jake Moody, I understand that Debo's a bigger guy than you, but if I was Jake Moody, I would have found the nearest beer bottle and been like,
But you get what I'm saying. You just had an
"We
overthrow. He
we
got
about to
punched in the face. I'm trying to
we
figure
about
out
to
what's your
shake it
problem.
up,
He got
boy."
over it. He made it. He made a kick. What are you doing? What are you doing, Caleb Williams, to where you have an overthrow in the first quarter and then you can't play for the rest of the game? You need to figure that out.
Somebody's that it was Troy that said it. The
10 for
Vikings,
10.
the
Rob said
Vikings
he was 10
QB,
for 10 when it happened.
the Vikings
And
QB not overreacting after his pick six and staying poised to help the team win. That's very true. Like JJ McCarthy was getting his tail kicked. He was getting it pushed in hard. And guess what?
hey,
He
he kept it
stayed in the
together.
game. He
Hey,
stayed in the game to come
hey,
back to win it.
Hey, Mark, remember we had this conversation about J.J. McCarthy expectations, and I said he's a good quarterback, but he don't expect anything spectacular. But what did I say, Mark? I said the one thing that he always did was he could only have 13 attempts for the whole game, and
Right.
they would ask him to go in the fourth quarter and drive down the field and just throw the ball, and he would get the job done every time. If
Yep.
he wasn't nothing, he was always poised and he was
Clutch.
always to finish. He was always able to finish a game. Now, this was amazing though, Mark. This was amazing. I was like, once he got the second drive going, I was like, oh, I was like, I don't know. I've seen him in this zone like this to where it's like everything is just clicking for him. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, I've seen it in Michigan, and I was like, this looks like Michigan, JJ McCarthy right now. You called upon him in the fourth quarter, and he showed up. So yeah, it just seems to be the exact opposite with Caleb, man.
Here's another thing about Caleb that might not be necessarily as much his fault. But Rob made me think of it. Rob said, but also Jefferson was telling him they got this on the sideline, encouraging him, and that's may very well be true. And I was like, well, why? And it made me think to myself, are people encouraging Caleb Williams? Are they trying to do that, or are they saying to themselves, hey man, why is this dude my QB? Because also another thing that was in the article was, hey, Caleb Williams is the veterans on the team and the other players, they wanted Tyler Bagent to be their QB. They said, hey man, give us Bagent. Like that dude needs to be starting.
Yeah.
And so is Caleb Williams in a situation like Carson Wentz where you're not the most liked guy and they would rather the other guy be starting?
Hmm.
And like if that's the case, I mean some of that may be your own doing, but I can also understand how you get that way, how things happen that way for you, and that can be frustrating and make it hard to focus and make you feel like when when the players want somebody else, it makes everything you do have to be perfect, and that's hard to live up to. But hey, you also are getting paid millions and millions of dollars to do exactly that. So, oh well.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
anyway, that's enough of the long-windedness about, hey, long wind, and we was talking about the Windy City, Chicago Bears. Hey, how about that? I'm on the roll. The puns, they're so great.
The man showed up to the stadium wearing a Brian Urlacher jersey, man. You
Hey,
know, sometimes trying too hard doesn't get you anywhere, Mark. Just look, it's Chicago. They just want you to show up and win games, my boy. That's all they want you to do. You don't got to show up with our lacquer jersey on. Just
All right. All right, we're going to do this and then we're going to get up out of here. We're going to go over some, not all of them, some of the games in week 2. So, Sean, what game in week 2 are you most looking forward to?
shoot. You got the schedule up in front of you. I
I
don't
do.
have the
For me,
schedule up. Oh, here we. No, I do have the schedule up in front of me. Excuse me. I forgot I had it up. As far as week 2 games, um, Packers Commanders is one I'm looking forward to. More so because I want to know where the Packers stand. I didn't like what I saw from the Packers last year. It seemed like they showed flashes, but then there was a long stretch of the season where it just seemed like they just could not get on the same page offensively.
hmm
Oh, that's wild! Straight out the gate. Okay, but yeah. So the Packers Commanders is one. Um, there was only like one other game that I really cared about this week. Um, where is it? Yeah, Eagles Chiefs. That was the only other game I cared about. So yeah, like I said, so Packers Commanders and then Eagles Chiefs.
all
So
right.
Eagles Chiefs I want to see purely because I mean I want to see what the Chiefs defense is made out of. I personally just think the Eagles are going to win this game. But I want to see where the Chiefs defense is, and I want to see um, how the Eagles plan to play that game, especially coming off of a game where they didn't really pass to the wide receivers at all. So
Well, listen, I don't care how it gets done. I don't.
I know you don't.
I listen. As an Eagles fan, I'm looking forward to the Eagles Chiefs, but
Yeah.
I don't care how this game gets won. You want to know several reasons why. Our wide receivers are getting paid already. They're
Hmm.
not going anywhere.
Yeah.
We're locked in. Like I don't care. Our quarterback is locked in. Our offensive side of the ball is locked in. So I don't care how we score the points. I just care that we scored the points. I just like that's all that matters at this point because we know that these individual pieces are good and when they need to be called upon when they're needed then we'll utilize them. But I'm not in a rush to see a 300-yard game, even though I have Jalen Hurts as my quarterback in several leagues, and I have AJ Brown stock as well in fantasy football. But I'm not in a rush to see that. I just care that we win the game, and that's me for throughout the season.
Yeah.
Um, what I do care about though is I don't want to like. There is no excuses for the Eagles, man. Like they have to win this game. And particularly on defense. They said Adoree is the starter again for week 2 after getting absolutely embarrassed by CeeDee Lamb. Now here's the thing. It was like it's hard to give him grace, but
It was.
like the realist in me has to say, Doug, that's a top 5 wide receiver that he was thrown to the wolves on. Like literally thrown to the wolves on. And I feel bad for him the same way I felt bad for Keely Ringo. Like Keely Ringo was on Jamar Chase and we're looking around like how you let Jamar Chase do that to you? You mean the Triple Crown winner last year? That's who you're talking about? That Jamar Chase? Like why am I yelling at Keely Ringo for not being able to hold down the best statistical wide receiver in the NFL in 2024 on his very first start?
Yeah.
Sounds wild. Sound sounds absolutely wild. You mean the same dude that has embarrassed Stephon Gilmore, the same dude that has embarrassed all types of like name a receiver and name a cornerback and he's embarrassed them at least once. And and now you're talking about hey Keely.
Hey Troy, hey look, I can't even be mad at that response though.
Yeah.
Like,
No,
he said
no,
plays where he wasn't even in the picture. Like,
no,
he's not
no,
even on the screen. Come on, man.
no,
Like,
exactly like that. No, 100%. Now you're right about that. Now when it came to the CD Lamb stuff, that's what made the Adoree Jackson stuff so bad because like the amount of space between Adoree and CD was crazy.
it
It
was
was like
embarrassing.
it was
Is what
like
it was.
3 yards of separation between them on any given catch by CD, and it was disgusting.
I was watching CD adjust to a catch, still have time to take off untouched after adjusting to a catch. Like he's not even catching it in stride, Mark. He just has that much space. It was nuts.
No, I mean that's fair. Like, trust me, that is fair. But all I'm trying to get to with this is that Chiefs don't have they do not have a CD Lamb. They
They
don't.
don't.
Like their best receiver right now is Hollywood Brown and
Juju.
Juju Smith Schuster. Now, if Adoree Jackson gets burned by Juju Smith Schuster,
Now we have a conversation.
yes, now we can have a conversation. Well, we're not having a conversation. It's just like, hey, step into my office. Why? Because you're fired. That's why. Like that's the only conversation I'm having. If he gets burnt by Juju Smith Schuster, there's nothing else to be said there. But that's what I'm looking forward to in the Chiefs game. Like offensively, I don't care what the Eagles do as long as they win. Defensively, I'm definitely looking at them and saying, you guys cannot lose this game. You cannot, like, Doug, I don't want the Chiefs to have more than 14 points. And that's a serious thing. I'm being serious, the Chiefs should not have more than 14 points,
They
given
shouldn't, right?
given the anemic state of their offense currently when it comes to weapons. They should not have more than 14 points.
Yeah. So speaking of not, they shouldn't have more than 14 points, Mark. I do have a question for you. Are you going to watch the Doodoo Bowl this week? You're gonna watch Mac Jones with no George Kittle lead the Niners against the Spencer Rattler led Saints this week. Are you gonna watch that game?
Is Brock Purdy hurt?
Yeah, I thought you knew. He got hurt during the game, and
Oh, it was like a AC joint thing or something.
it's like I think it's like a finger in the toe or something like that. But
Oh no, yeah, I do know about the toe thing, but they said that was day to day. He's not going to play.
Mark, when was the last time you actually believed the 49ers injury report?
No, I don't. But
He said-
I don't. But
right
you
now,
talking-
right now the report is he hasn't practiced.
I mean, but a toe, you only have you're like as a QB, you just as long as you can navigate the pocket, you should be all right.
It depends on the toe. If it's a big toe, you can't. Turf toe keep people out and stuff like that.
I hear you.
But I'm saying, and I think his finger is a throwing hand. So
Oh, okay. Now the finger being the throwing hand, that's a problem.
like it's weird because the initial reports, not from the Niners camp, but just from people around the situation, reporters were saying the type of injury it is, it might be 1 or 2 weeks. But they were for sure like he's good. He's not going to play this week. And then the Niners did their official report, and they're like he's day to day. They just not we just not trying to tip our hand to say you guys we not trying to let them prepare for Mac Jones all week is all it is. So and then Kittle, remember Kittle, they were like we don't know, we'll see, and then the next thing you know Kittle's on the IR.
Hey, well, listen.
So
the
look,
Mac,
I'm just saying.
the Mac Jones. Hey, I am looking forward to it. You want to know why?
Yeah,
You want to know why?
why?
Because
Does Kyle want a Mac Jones you want to see?
no. I don't believe in Mac Jones, baby.
I know you don't.
but I have stock in CMC in like 2 leagues. So
Oh, okay. He's like, it should be a whole lot of CMC.
you know, it's-
Hey, CMC might go for 35 to 40 in fantasy this week.
you know what I'm saying? It's gonna like I will be watching that game just
Hey,
to see how much
that is
CMC.
absolutely disgusting, Leighton. That shit is that he said Mac Jones about to drag that wagon on
Hey man,
him.
Mac and them
Oh
hips,
man,
boy.
look.
Hey, put bumpers on them hips and nobody be able to sack them.
Hey, look, man, look, Mark. If you could understand how much I don't want to watch this game, and I'm a Niners fan, you got to understand how much I don't want to watch this game. But I'm going to watch the game because I'm a Niners fan, Mark. I don't want anything to do with this game. Okay, number one, I don't want to see Spencer Rattler play quarterback.
Whoa. Spencer Rattler, here's the thing. I'm not going to hold you, man. Spencer Rattler looked far more competent in that game than Caleb Williams.
He did. You're right. But I still don't want to see him play quarterback, and then I don't want to see Mac Jones. I don't want to see Mac Jones wearing. I don't even want to see the image of Mac Jones wearing a Niners jersey though. So like, I don't know how I'm gonna get around this, but I'm gonna watch the game because I'm not gonna willfully ignore a game for the Niners. I can't. I want to so bad, but seeing Mac Jones wearing a fucking Niners jersey is gonna piss me off. But so now, Mark, obviously, I'm rooting for Mac Jones to do well. And I really hate that because then if he does well, I have to watch Kyle Shanahan smiling on the sideline as if he's saying, "See, I try to tell you guys." Like, I don't want to see that either, Mark. There's a lot of things that could happen in this game that's just going to piss me off. But yeah, nah, man, it's disgusting. But I will watch. I will watch. So if I'm watching, I hope we win. I hope Mac Jones does well. And then I hope he takes his ass back to the bench when Brock Purdy comes back. That's it.
Mm. Well, listen, man, I gotta ask you, man.
What's up?
So, did your team's devil deal finally come due? Like,
Double what? Did our
did your
double
double?
deal?
Yeah, did your double deal come through? Like,
What you
did
talking?
it
We
come
ain't
due?
make no crossroads deals.
You sure?
We ain't make no cross.
You sure?
Look.
You sure you didn't have? You sure you didn't? Your team didn't have a conversation with Crowley? Oh,
No, they did that. Crowley, who's that, Mark? I don't even know who that is.
you do know who Crowley is, you liar. You're a liar. You're a liar, sir.
Crowley, never heard of him.
Oh, okay, right.
Look. I don't know what kind of deal we made to where we don't walk away with a Super Bowl, Mark. But
Hey,
we should have got a better deal if that's the case.
you can't trust them demons. You
Hey,
only
you're
asked
right.
to win.
You're right.
You only asked to win. You didn't say to what point.
Yeah, you just yeah, you're right. You're right. You won something. You won a championship.
See?
NFC championship. Look, man. Look, Mark. Look. I don't know nothing about that. I don't know what kind of dealings they got going on. I don't know why week one our team just decided to fall apart. We won the game at what cost? We don't have a. We lost the kicker. Okay, he gone. We lost Kittle. He gone. Brock Purdy's hurt. CMC limped into the week with them saying he got a calf strain. Okay,
But
I
well,
was waiting for CMC
look,
to collapse on the field, Mark.
and then
I don't know
you,
what's happening.
you're missing one.
What?
You're
Ayuk's
missing
not
one.
there?
No, your potential number one receiver is also hurt.
Oh,
Jawan Jennings.
Jawan Jennings is hurt, and he's a real day to day. They don't know if he's going to play, but I think what's going to happen is he's going to try to play. So I expect to see Jawan Jennings on the field, but I think he's going to be in a limited capacity. But yes, Mark, I don't know what happened. We played one game, Mark. Everybody hurt.
Uh-huh.
It's not
Hey
good.
man. Hey
What
man.
we go and pick up Brian Robinson, right? We trade for Brian Robinson, another dude that's been shot. Okay, we just you know
How
I
long?
don't know.
How many years has Kyle Shanahan been y'all coach? Has it been 10?
No, it has not been 10 yet. I want to say it's 8 or 9, going on 8 or 9, because he started coaching. His first year coaching is when we got Jimmy G. So that was either 2017 or 2018.
Oh, let me ask.
Hold up, let me look at it. Yep, we acquired Jimmy G in October of 2017. So I was right. 2017 is when he is our coach. So that would mean this is year number 9.
Okay. Well, so the average deal for the average demon deal is 10 years. So
That's what that's. I'm like, what do you mean he gonna look it up? I thought you were looking up Jimmy G when he got signed. This dude
no,
talking about the average,
no,
the
no. I
average
knew
cost
I
per
knew the
deal.
average demon deal. I was just wanting to see when he came in, but the average demon deal is 10 years. So maybe you guys didn't sell your soul. I don't
Hey,
know.
look, hey, you saying this is it, right? This is it. We got to pull it together. We got to patch it back up together this year if we want to do so. Hey, Ricky Pearsall is nice. I do like Ricky Pearsall, but it's look, man, we can't have everybody dipping in and out of this offense and then expect young players to perform consistently. It's just not something we ain't there yet to where we could just say we're relying on Ricky Pearsall with Kittle out, CMC literally on his last leg, and then Jawan Jennings limping into the week. We cannot just say, well, Pearsall's going to be coming back from being shot too. Look, man, I'm just saying. Look, see, I'm looking at a ticker now. It says, and just so you know, Mark, when I was looking at the ticker earlier, I'm looking at the editor screen, not the live preview. It says 49ers, Purdy unlikely to play, could miss weeks.
Mm.
49ers quarterback Brock Purdy is a long shot to play. So now the truth is coming out. We keep dropping these lies, Mark, about people's health status.
Well, I feel pretty
Day to
good
day
that
to
I
now,
traded
he's
him
going
to
to
you.
miss multiple weeks. Like I said, the original reports I heard was 2 weeks.
I feel pretty good that I traded him to you. Feel pretty
Yeah,
good. But
yeah.
anyway, but listen, man. Hey guys, is there any game before we get out of here? Any game that you want us to talk about? While you guys say what game you want us to talk about, I do want to say thank you for tuning in on our first week back because we did not tell anybody that we were going to record today and go live today. So to have as many of you show up and watch today is a great appreciation, man. We appreciate you guys. Thank you. Um,
Yeah.
so um, it kind of makes me feel good about it. Um, we we will be getting back into the the X's and O's a little bit and with the jokes. Hey, yeah, there you go. Canelo Crawford this weekend. Who do I got? I got Crawford. I don't know why, but I'm just gonna say I got Crawford. Canelo's a beast. He's is an absolute beast, but something in me says believe in Crawford. It's his time.
I want to hear what John got to say because I know he the boxing aficionado up in here. I want to see what he got to say for this fight this weekend. Me personally, I don't like the size difference, you know, and I just look at it and say I know what Canelo's power looks like. Canelo might not be as fast as he once was, but Canelo is such a technical counter puncher.
Today he is. Today he
Uh,
is. I said
yeah,
today he is. Yes.
yeah. So I just look at it and I say like I like Crawford. Crawford is I don't know, man. This is a close one, but I'm leaning towards Canelo.
Yeah. See, but yeah, like Troy said, looks like Crawford put on too much weight. And look, man, maybe I'll do a little side video after after I truly prepare myself for this fight. But yeah, man, I think but that's where it is for me too. I think Crawford has a toughness factor that will carry him through. I think Crawford it, Crawford is a little bit younger. I think Crawford wants it more. You
He
know what I mean?
does want it more. You're absolutely right.
I think, and that's really what it comes down to.
Mhm.
It feel for me. This is like the desire and wanting it more. Canelo has seen the highest height that his career is going to take him.
You know what's, but this is,
Um,
and I want to be clear because even though I said I'm leaning Canelo, this is what I want to make very clear. You look at all of the best boxers. Let's take Floyd out of it. You look at everybody else. There's always that fight that they have where you're like, nah, man, they still got it. You don't expect them to lose, and then they not only lose, but they either lose badly or they get knocked out, right?
hmm
And I don't know if you can think of another opponent that could be that person for Canelo other than Crawford. So there's that, right? Like, if part of me saying I'm leaning towards Canelo is almost the equivalent of me saying I just don't think Canelo is going to have that fight where he gets Antonio Tarver. You know what I mean?
yeah, I don't think.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I
and
don't
I'm
think.
not just saying, like, he's
Yeah, I
not
don't
going to
think
have
it's.
that fight where he gets embarrassed. He starts getting embarrassed like Oscar De La Hoya.
Yeah,
But like I said, for me, I feel like this is the last great Canelo fight. This is the
yeah.
last great fight we get out of him.
I just don't. Like I said, man. I think it's Crawford's time, man. I think he's worked hard for a long time. And to be perfectly honest, man, I hate to say this, but this is just a little side thing. This might be the last or one of the last. I mean, I've said this before, so I could be just talking out of my ass. But this might be one of the last big name fights that really matter or that you would really look forward to. Because let's be honest, are we looking forward to this Crawford Canelo fight off of Crawford's name? Or are we just looking forward to it off of Canelo's name and we know that Crawford can box?
I think I think for me it's both. It's a fight that we never thought we were going to get. Number one, number two, it's a fight to where if you're a Canelo fan, this is the fight that you want. There's been a lot of questions about the people that Canelo's been fighting, and there's been people saying that Canelo's been ducking certain people, and then this is a fight that you can say as a Canelo fan, see, he's not ducking. He's gonna fight Crawford, and Crawford is the hottest guy, hottest boxer right now. Okay,
Well,
forget
let
the
me.
weight differences. And then if you're a Crawford guy, you want to see him. This is a challenging fight because of the weight difference. You going up in class. Now, for me, who is a fan of both, I'm watching this fight for both of them because I just think styles make fights. In You're talking about stylistically, Crawford is a more unorthodox, less technical. I'm not going to say less technically sound, but he's a more unorthodox boxer. What he does isn't the same thing that a technical boxer would do, which makes it dangerous. And then you have Canelo, who is just a technical boxer, and he's a counterpuncher. Crawford has fought counterpunchers before, and he's beat them. I just, it's just to me, it just makes for a good fight. The two
Well,
styles.
no, but I mean that's all well and good for people that watch boxing, but that's not what I'm really talking
Okay,
about here. That's not what I'm talking about here. This comment from Troy is more along the lines of what I'm talking about. Like regular names that people recognize. Canelo is the last real name that still is boxing that people recognize because if I was to go out into the general populace and just say Terrence Crawford, they'd be like, all right, that's just a dude.
Yeah,
But
no,
if
you're
I
right.
say, Canelo Alvarez, people know that. And the other name that would have been there, who was still young enough to box, is
Tank,
Javante Davis,
Tank.
Tank.
Yep.
But guess what? Guess what Tank is doing? Tank has now sold out. He has now sold out for the bag and is now fighting Jake Paul.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so there's that. And then you have like he said, Floyd versus Tyson. Like, Doug, no, like, boxing is in such a bad place when it comes to um great great Kendrick reference there. But yeah, there's boxing is such a in such a bad place when it comes to the promotional aspect of it and the popularity amongst just the general populace. Like, back when, obviously back in the 90s and early 2000s, like, big fights were popular amongst everyday people that don't normally watch boxing. It was an event much like the Super Bowl that people were willing to pay for, um just just because, even though they do not watch boxing.
yeah.
Today, the closest they can get to that is a rigged fight by Jake Paul.
You're absolutely right. Everything you just said, Mark. I thought about it when you're the way you describe it, the Super Bowl. I don't even watch football. We watching the Super Bowl. I'm trying to go to a Super Bowl party. Look, I'm about to host a Super Bowl party. I don't even watch football. Then you got me. Like, I don't watch. I don't watch soccer on a regular. I will
Yeah.
watch the World Cup.
Right.
I will absolutely watch the World Cup, and that's the way boxing used to be. Was no matter who you were, no matter what you were interested, in, people that didn't even watch sports at all, like no sports. Oh, you got the fight this weekend? I'm coming over.
Right.
So yeah, you're right. The mystique, not even the mystique. I'm gonna say the appeal, the general entertainment appeal of boxing is no longer there. The big name fights, like you said, man, you don't know nothing about boxing. Tyson fights on. Okay, we watching the Tyson. We got to
Yeah.
find out where we. I got to figure out where I'm gonna watch the Tyson fight. As much as people talk about Floyd, it didn't matter. You was watching the Floyd fight. Okay, right.
Yeah.
So no, you're absolutely right. That part of boxing, that appeal of boxing is gone, and I don't know if they'll ever get that back.
Right. And
Not
I
with the Jake
feel,
Paul bullshit going on.
but this is what, here's where this particular fight is trying to get that back, because this is the first fight that's not on pay per view. Now, granted, people had to pay for it in a way, like, because you have to own Netflix to watch it, but like, the 30-40 pay per view, that's not a thing.
Hmm.
Like, so if you already have Netflix, you're watching this, and Netflix, as far as owning Netflix, you might as well own. I mean, Netflix is as popular as just
Universal.
having a basic cable box.
Yeah, it
Like,
is.
that's what.
Everybody has Netflix,
Yeah, everybody has Netflix today. So basically, they're showing a major fight for free on
essentially.
essentially. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so I feel like this fight is boxing's probably, I wouldn't say last ditch effort, but it's one of their like, this is our best punch to get people back into it.
Interested.
Like, this is our best punch because this is an event that everybody can see, and here we are. It's no different than what wrestling recently went through, where wrestling started showing stuff on Netflix and all that stuff, and
Yeah,
then and now we're looking at the a bit of resurgence
it
with
is.
wrestling now, or with the WWE in particular. But that resurgence is also fueled by bringing back old talent and allowing them to
Names.
shine again and
Yeah.
stuff, bringing back the names. And it feels like boxing may be trying to grab a hold of that a little bit by hey, make this more accessible. And these are the two names that we have now. Make it more accessible. These two names fight. So yeah, that's what it seems like is going on now. And um and it also seems like that's where um the MMA yeah, that's
Yeah,
where
UFC.
not MMA but UFC in particular, they are also going that way because now no more of the pay-per-views and stuff. Their new deal is like directly through whoever, is it directly through Paramount? I don't, whichever one it is, but
But
if
yeah,
but as long as you have that, you can watch all their stuff.
yeah.
Like
And
it's so it seems like the pay they are figuring out now they went too far with the pay-per-view model. Nobody wants to do that anymore. And so now they're trying to make themselves accessible
yeah,
to
yeah, it's a few. I mean, it's so weird because they have both ended up in the same place, but it was two different problems. Boxing had a problem of dog. We watching rigged fights. We watching
right.
people. These judgments are terrible. It and that's an issue, right? And then forget the town level. It was just like these judgments are terrible. When I do watch a good match that I want to watch, a good fight that I want to watch, y'all telling me it's a draw when it's not. And then on the UFC part, it was just like, dog, y'all have a pay per view event every week.
Hmm.
I don't have that kind of money to bet. Now I'm picking and choosing. Now
Right.
you're wasting your money because there's 5 pay-per-views that I passed up on because I just want to get to this one.
Right.
Okay. Now what they started to do, they started watering down the pay-per-views. If we put all the fights on one, then that's the only one that everybody's gonna watch. So we're gonna put one good fight in 5 fights that we don't care about on this one to try to get you to watch. And then it's like people just like, look, man, I'm not gonna pay for a pay-per-view to watch one fight, man.
Right. And
Like
remember when UFC used to have Fight Night on FS1?
that
Like,
was so dope. Yeah.
yeah, like that,
And they used to have good fights.
like the things that helped build UFC, they went away from and started just charging you for every single thing that they did.
Yeah.
And it was like, all right, man, I'm good.
Yeah.
Um,
Bellows, real quick. You talking about Gold Colts. You beat up on the Dolphins. Congratulations. Daniel Jones is still your quarterback. Continue. Sorry, Mark. I just
yeah.
had to
Um,
talk real quick.
but yeah, it seems like we we came up on a good conversation at the end of the show that I did not mean to have,
Yeah.
which is typical because if I'm not, oh no, that was Rob that brought it up. I thought it was Troy because
Yeah.
Troy tends to do that.
Yeah.
Um,
Troy be trying to get us to 2 hours.
yeah, Troy be trying to get us to talk forever, but yeah, man. But again, thank you guys for watching. Thank you for checking in. Really appreciate it because this was a no notice episode, and yet we had like 10 of y'all in here at once. So that's really cool. Uh, but listen, we're out of here, man. Um, just you got to remember, in a lot of ways, man. A lot of this stuff is only entertainment, and it's really starting to show itself in every aspect, man. So don't take it seriously, especially that Jake Paul Tank fight. Like, don't take that seriously at all, man. But with that being said, peace. Good luck with your betting this week. Share your share your bet slips on the TET page, man. Like maybe somebody could give you tips, or we could all get rich together.
You
So
obviously talk about somebody other than Troy. Say Troy be keeping that shit tucked. But
yeah, no, I'm talking to everybody, man. Like go to the TET
yeah.
Facebook page and share
Mhm.
your tips amongst
Parlays,
each other,
man.
your parlays, man. Maybe we could all get rich together, or we all get poor together. Who knows?
Yeah, let's hit them player props, man. Come on.
All right. But But with that being said, we appreciate you guys. Peace.
Peace.